Okay. What's going on, LBHT crew? B. Ferris. What's
What's up?
going on, my friends?
I'ma need a day off. I think I called Ferris up.
Yes,
Doing good.
yes.
I'm doing good.
Ferris has entered the
I'm
building.
doing very well.
The chat.
Thank you.
Your timing has gotten
No,
quite
it's-
well with that.
Yeah,
Yes.
Thank you.
You
Thank
worked
you.
it out
I
quite
appreciate-
well.
Yeah. I don't make the same mistake twice.
There you go. All right, listen, it is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hope your week is going well, but if not, hopefully it gets better starting right now. Look, it's the preseason. Game 2 is coming up this week. There's some interesting stories coming up. We got some news, some unfortunate news at the Ravens camp.
Ravens fighting for their lives already.
Yeah.
Apparently.
It's real out there. It's getting real out there.
How you let a man that weighs 115 pounds soaking wet punch you in the face? That's crazy.
Well, when you weigh 120, I mean,
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah.
let's get to the chat. Shout out to Raven Ron. Raven Ron's in the house. Says, "What up, LBHT? Marlo out. Better be scoring a whole lot of points or get a dominant pass rush." Okay, we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about it. Just Aloe's in the house. Says, "What up, LBHT crew? I hope everyone is doing well." What's up, Just Aloe? MJ's in the house. Says, "Yo, what up, MJ?" Ravenville's in the house. Says, "What's up, LBHT?" Hey, thanks for coming through, Ravenville. Our guy Hendo from the Roll Pod says, "Happy Wednesday, the best day of the week." Indeed. Our brother Bazel's in the house. What's up, Bazel?
Sixth.
Bazel's getting other people.
Oh,
He's
you
getting other people a
six?
chance. That's all.
Oh, you six, Bazel? Oh man.
Yes. And shout out to our stream bot. You know, he's putting in that work. Okay. Look, we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So make sure you are hitting the like button, all those places, following us, all those places. Also, if you're listening to the audio portion of this or the audio stream of this, make sure you're giving us a 5-star review. And if you're into audio podcasts, we're available wherever podcasts are available. So make sure you follow us, download us, all that good stuff. All right. And yes, RIP to Alex Collins. We can start with that. Unfortunate. Was it a motorcycle accident?
Yeah.
Oh,
Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's sad.
I loved him. I loved him at Arkansas coming out. I was always a big fan of the kid.
Yeah.
Especially that crazy story in high school. You ever heard of that story?
No.
Where he signed in to go to Arkansas, right? But his mom jumped the table, snatched the letter of intent from him, and ran away.
Oh.
She didn't want him to go to Arkansas, but him and his dad, he said, "Hey, I want to go to Arkansas," but she was like, "No, you not." and then they had to be like, "Moms, give me back the letter of intent. I gotta go."
That's crazy.
And then at Arkansas, there's this play where it was 4th and 25, and they throw it to their tight end, and he's short, and they tackle him, and he throws the ball back. He's falling, and throws it back, right, and it just falls into Alex Collins' hands, and he gets 26 yards.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, gone too soon. Rest in peace to him, and condolences out to him and his family.
Mm-hmm.
Let me give a salute to Jared Green for the donation, the early donation. Says, "What's up, everyone? What's up with you, Jared? Man, thanks for the
Jared?
donation. Shout out to you. And if you want to be awesome like Jared, right? This is how we do our super chats here. There are 2 ways you can do that. One right in the corner next to Ferris, $ LBHT Show. That is our Cash App. Also, the pin link that you see in the chat box will take you to our Stream Elements page. Both ways, you leave a donation, leave your comment, and you get a nice little animation right next to me. All right. Excuse me. Yolanda B's in the house. What's going on, Yolanda? Says, "Good evening, everyone." Hey, shout out to you. Matt D's in the house. Says, "Greetings, people. Greetings to you." MDT Sports says, "What's up, LBHT? I want a Montgomery, Alabama, John Harbaugh right now." Look. It's too early for that. You guys know how we feel about John Harbaugh. We're not the biggest John Harbaugh fans, but the season hasn't started yet. You can't go for his neck yet. All right, not yet. But yes, we are going to talk about the preseason games last week. We'll do a quick recap. We'll talk about the upcoming games. There's a reason why Ferris is here. Okay, his team might be playing somebody else's team on the screen here. All right, yeah. So we're going to be discussing that. Get a little breakdown of Giants camp as well. What's up, Marco G? Marco G's in the house. Says, what's good, fellas? Who needs all pro Marlo when you have Brandon Stevens? What's his face? And that other dude. Yes. And special shout out to DDSQ. I believe it was DDSQ. You and your wife are expecting soon, I believe. I think you said a couple of days. So congratulations.
Congratulations.
I finally figured out what's the cue from. I finally understood it now.
Just not. He already explained it.
It wasn't a puzzle. I mean, it's right there in the.
I missed.
Every
when
week, Ferris reminds us that he doesn't listen to the show.
Oh, sorry.
Monday.
Okay, Monday.
That was not.
Wow.
Yes.
Congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
I figured it out by just looking at his profile pic.
Good job.
Good job. He put it all together.
Way to
not
go,
not listening. Just just doing your own investigation.
That was a tough solve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Salute to Agent
a mind vendor.
Another thing before we start, I want to bring up our point system, right?
Yes.
We do loyalty points every week. I don't see Chocolate Lady Cap in here. She won the drawing, right?
Yeah, she did, and has apparently quit the show since then. I don't know. I haven't seen her.
Okay. We will see her. We'll or if you guys see Chocolate Lady Cap in the chat, just let her know that she won the drawing for this month. Agent E actually won last month's drawing. Look, we give out two prizes. Okay. One is for the person that has the most loyalty points at the end of the month, right? And I know Ferris tries his best to scare away people. Okay.
What?
Because
this is breed competition, homie.
Donations get you points. Commenting in the chat get you points. Just watching the show get you points. Signing up for our newsletter is an easy way to get 1,000 points. There's all kinds of ways to get points. But the person with the most amount of points at the end of the month gets a prize. But we also do a drawing. All you need for that drawing is 1,000 points, and that's easy to get. Okay.
Yes.
So keep participating. If you don't have money to donate, you don't need to donate a dime. Just be active in the chat. Be active. You can submit questions. If we read your questions on air, that's another way to get points. Just be active in the community, and you'll get enough points to be eligible for a prize every month. All right. What's up, Big Reg? Big Reg in the house. Marcus Payne's in the house. Salute to you guys, man. Thanks for coming through. All right. Look, we got a lot to get to. We got a Harden story to get to as well. I can't wait for that. All right. But first, we like to start every show with a Black History fact, and B has a Black History fact for you.
Yeah. So I don't know if you all know this. I'm sure most people do or had an idea of it. But during the Civil War, obviously a lot of Black people fought. Black people fought for the South. They were kind of voluntold by owners. But a lot of people volunteered to fight for the North as well, and they fought in what was known as the United States Colored Troops. They're about 178,000 strong, and they were actually a kind of a precursor to the Buffalo Soldiers. We've talked about on the show before, but one of those U.S. colored troops in particular, John H. Murphy Sr., who was born into slavery and like I said, fought in the Civil War, afterwards actually founded one of the first Black newspapers in the U.S. it's known as the Afro, but it's called like the Afro-American, and it's located in Baltimore, and it was founded on August 13th, 1892, and it is still in operations today. Over on West Austin Street in Baltimore. So they have been active in, campaigning for civil rights for Black people, and just getting news out about obviously things going on in the country and in the city in particular to begin with, informing the public about, laws that were put forth to try and essentially take rights away from Black people, keep segregation going, those kind of things. And they've been able to expand since then. I don't know if you remember, though, and this is what caught my eye as well, when we talked about Percy Julian Love. Do you remember who that is?
he was a journalist or something, wasn't he?
No, not Mr. Love. He was a scientist, a chemist, and his work led to like cortisone and corticosteroids and
Yes.
and birth control.
Nice.
Percy Julian Love, at one point when he was a professor, things got a little messy. He was calling out some of his colleagues, and then he was actually, oops, my bad, that's my alarm there because I'm usually not off yet. He was also having an affair with the wife of one of his colleagues, and so that colleague, obviously upset, took some personal letters of Percy's to a newspaper to have them published, and it kicked off this whole scandal, forced him to resign. And that paper was actually the Afro in Baltimore who published those letters and got all that pressure put on Mr. Love, and had him out looking for a job, looking for work.
Yeah, we did his Black History Fact is either on the day of or the day after his birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah, very close. Yeah,
I remember. That's crazy.
But yeah, so the Afro-American, a Black-owned, Black-run newspaper in Baltimore since 1892, still going strong today.
Hey, salute. And salute to Danny. Thanks for coming through, Danny. Danny says, hey, y'all, welcome to the stream. Hit the like.
Gotta restart the computer. I'll be right back.
All right. Okay. Danny says, hit the like button and subscribe. Kings and queens, indeed. Salute. We got Megan in the house, says, greetings, boys. Getting my YouTube channel organized, but I'm listening. Hey, thanks for coming through, Megan.
Thank you, Megan.
Thank you.
Let me go ahead and put that up. There it is. And now we are done. I always forget.
Yeah. Should keep reminding us we need a producer. This is true. Okay. Let's get into camp. I didn't look at all the notes from today, but the big news obviously was Marlon Humphrey getting hurt.
Yep.
Right. And they're saying he could miss, 4 to 6 weeks. Look, it could be worse. That's all I could say. It could be worse. It's not the end of the world by any stretch. I still have high expectations from this defense. Look, man, when you invest that much in, especially in the secondary, an injury like this is pretty minor, all things considered.
Yeah.
We have 2 more weeks of preseason football, and then I don't know, is there like a gap in between that and the start of the season?
No, I think it goes right into it.
It goes right in. All right. So yeah, he might miss the first 2, 3, maybe even 4 games. I don't care. Better win. We have 2 really good safeties back there. And look, man, you pay a lot of money to Roquan Smith. We kept Patrick Queen, first round pick. Put a lot of draft picks into the D line as well. So get it done. It sucks, but he'll be there he'll be back for the rest of the season. And I mean, if he misses 4, even 5 games, that's still 12 games left for him to play at a high level. So I'm not that worried about that. It sucks. Don't get me wrong. It sucks, but by no means is the end of the world. And again, it's another thing that they could have avoided by signing a quarterback, by signing Darius Slay, right?
Yeah.
Or trading for Jalen Ramsey. I mean, they put themselves in a situation, but I really don't care.
Ramsey go for like a 4th,
something like that,
a 4th or a 5th or something.
It wasn't the first. Oh, and shout out to Ferris. Ferris, I my bad, man. You made 2 donations?
No, I just replayed it.
You replayed it. Okay,
yeah.
okay. I see it. Yes, he says, I love the Black History Fact segment. It is my favorite part. Yes.
That's for you, Hendo.
Yes. and Ferris also loves staying number 1 in the points.
He does. That's what he loves more than anything. But yeah, no, I've seen a lot of kind of doom and gloom from Ravens fans about this injury, and I understand. He's the only reliable, he's only known quantity at corner right now. Rocky Sin has been a decent player, throughout his career. He's been, up and down, but he's been okay. But he's been hurt since he's been in Baltimore. And then it's a gaggle of misfits. You got Jalen Armour Davis, you got Pepe Williams, you got Caillou Blue Kelly, and assorted other guys, but you don't know what you're going to get from them. So Ravens fans are understandably upset. But like you said, it's not a season-ending injury.
Mm-hmm.
It is August 16th, right? If he misses 4 weeks, that's September 16th. So he's missed a game,
right?
Like I said, if it extends beyond that, maybe he misses 2 or 3. But they have a fairly easy opening schedule. They start out with Houston. Obviously, the Bengals is a big game, but you could lose that Bengals game with Marlon Humphrey. Like he's lit up that secondary when you were healthy before too.
Yeah.
And then they have let me see if I can pull it up.
The Colts.
Colts.
Yeah.
With their rookie quarterback who has little to no experience actually playing football.
And a question mark at their star running back position.
Yes,
a rather large question mark at their running back position. And then you've got Cleveland with Deshaun Watson, who apparently is still struggling in training camp. Has not been able to get back on track and back to his form from his Houston days. So I'm not worried about. I would still expect them to come out of that stretch 3-1 at the worst.
Wow. Let me read this comment real quick from DDSQ. Thanks for the donation. It says, thanks for the well wishes. We are extremely excited. Indeed. Ravens drafted 3 corners the last 2 years. Let them play. Pass rush has to step up. Love the show. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Do we think they're going to step up? No, I don't think they're particularly good. But this is where the front office is supposed to make their money, right? This is where we shower EDC with all this praise, right? He needs to go out there and prove us wrong and say, hey, we know what we're doing by using all 12 of our draft picks and getting all these players. They're going to fill in quite nicely while Marlon Humphrey is out. That's what needs to happen. And if they don't, he needs to get criticized for it. And Harbaugh needs to get criticized too. I mean, you're the coach. You need to be developing this young talent. So it's time. I mean, no excuses. No excuses does not only apply to Lamar Jackson. I know everybody's saying that for Lamar because he just got paid. No excuses is for everybody on this team.
Absolutely. Yeah, because the GM and the coach locked in their star player, right? They convinced him to stay. So now the job is really done. Like, you've convinced him to stay. Now it's your time to use him in the proper manner to win games and Super Bowls. All right. Yeah. You can't, Lamar Jackson can walk on the field and win you a game or two. Yeah. But he needs a team to win a Super Bowl. You can't do that.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the rest of the. I mean, we didn't really discuss what happened in the game. We kind of did it on Coach's show. Ravens look fine. They look fine overall. I think the offense they moved the ball fairly well.
Did you guys have most of your starters in?
No.
Lamar didn't play at all.
Lamar didn't play. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins was still on the PUP list at that point. Odell didn't play. Bateman didn't play. Zay Flowers played a little bit.
So it was a depth game. It was really like a depth game.
The O-line didn't have any of their starters out there, I believe. I mean, the eventual starter at left guard was out there at some point. We don't know who it was, but yeah, Ronnie, Linderbaum, Zeitler, Moses.
Is that the Simpson Salah battle?
Yeah,
left guard position.
Yes.
I have a question. Do they not think Salah can play right tackle at all? Like, no, like at all?
I think
because he played. He was a start. He was the right tackle at Oregon. Like, he was.
Yeah,
that guy.
most tackles in college have to move inside in the NFL.
At least starting out.
He's apparently getting his ass whooped on the inside right now. So I don't think they want to put too much more on his plate. They've got Falalele is another guy who's kind of in the mix there. And obviously he plays right tackle as well, but they've thrown him in that competition at left guard. And I don't want to discount Patrick Ricard. I know he's a bit of a dark horse, but they threw him in that competition as well. So,
Got another donation. We got another donation from Anonymous, not so anonymous. Says, "What's up, LBHT crew? Ravens fans being all gloom and doom. As a Steelers fan, I'm here for it. Hope you guys have a great show. And FYI, I didn't cuss on stream. Hashtag LBHT screw.
I have no idea who that could possibly be. We have so many Steelers fans watching the show. But thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, the O-line. I mean, listen, obviously, if you watch the Ravens roundup, that was the big thing when Nitro came on and we talked about Ben Cleveland. I think that kind of that whole discussion is out of hand. Nobody thinks highly of Ben Cleveland, right? Yeah. But there aren't too many great options at that position. We talked about Saleh. Coach, he broke down in detail why Saleh is not good. He said John Simpson did play well in that game, but overall, we still don't know about him. And Ben Cleveland, I don't know. I'm not even sure if he's getting. I mean, it doesn't look like he's getting reps at left guard, so maybe he's out of that race, right? Yeah. They had him playing at right guard and right tackle, and there's a debate how well he played on last Sunday or Saturday. He didn't play bad, but again, that you're playing against other third and fourth stringers. Yeah. So and Ronnie Stanley also missing some time, right? They say he's should be good.
Par for the course.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was healthy last year.
Oh. Yeah, but he's hurt again right now. An undisclosed injury, so we'll see what that means. I don't know if they rehired Steve Saunders and none of us were paying attention, but maybe clean out the rest of your strength and conditioning and your training crew as well, because it is unbelievable what goes on in Baltimore every single year. I mean, as far as the left guard position, Saleh's a 6th round rookie. John Simpson, he's been a starter in the league before. I don't think anybody's saying he's great, but he was a starter on a Raiders team that won 10 games a couple of years ago. So he obviously didn't sink them. If I had to guess right now, I think my money would be on Simpson to potentially be the starter. But they really needed to address that position as well as the cornerback position, which is why we kind of give EDC so much heat, right? Like, you've got Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. And then you even look at like Delshon Phillips, a lot of people like Josh Ross, you have Malik Harrison, and you used your second pick on Trenton Simpson, an inside linebacker, right? When you have a massive hole at corner, you've got a hole at left guard, and it's what are you doing? They didn't attack that position in free agency at all, right? They didn't. As far as we know, didn't look into any possible trades for a guy who could step in and play that position. They just said, hey, y'all have at it.
Yeah, man. And, it kind of, they had a very easy job at guard for like 10 years when you find a random kid from Iowa in the 6th round and you're like, yeah, let's see if he works out. Oh, snap, he's a Hall of Famer. Cool. And then for the next 12 years, you don't ever address it because you don't need to. Now it's like, oh snap! How do I find another guard?
He wasn't a 6th rounder.
I said that's what I was told.
No, what?
You're talking about
Yanda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he was like 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah, he's second.
I was lied to. I was lied to by a Ravens fan.
No, wow. 2nd rounder. Because he got drafted the same year as Ben Grubbs. Ben Grubbs going in the 1st round. I think Yanda went in the 2nd or 3rd. Yeah. 3rd. Yes. Thank you, Hendo. 3rd round. Third round. Got it. Yeah. But listen,
and Simpson is hurt. Lovely.
Right.
Wait. Both Simpson. So they have 2 Simpsons.
No. John Simpson, the left guard.
So Simpson is hurt, but Trent
is still Simpson. He's fine.
Okay.
He's fine. Yeah. Look, I've been saying it. EDC he's getting credit based off of what Ozzie Newsome did for this team. I just haven't been impressed with anything that EDC has done at this point. Okay.
Trenton's hurt.
Huh?
Oh, Trenton's
hurt.
Oh, Trenton's hurt. Oh, okay. Yeah.
John isn't hurt.
Oh, okay.
Trenton being, listen, I hope he's okay and I hope he comes back healthy really soon. But Trenton being hurt doesn't really mean much of anything for the Ravens.
Yeah, because they already have the 2 linebackers.
No impact there. Yeah.
I don't know why you drafted him. Period. It made no sense.
To replace Patrick Queen.
Yeah.
eventually, right?
next year.
Yeah, next
Okay,
year because
okay.
they're not going to want to.
'Cause they're not gonna pay him.
him. Yeah,
Okay.
They did not, unfortunately, replace the left guard that they lost this year.
right.
So, you know.
But that's the thing that irks me, right? What was the plan there? You know, Ben Cleveland, but you're not even giving him any reps there.
It seems like Baltimore is one of those teams where their plan is always to get lucky, essentially. Hey,
Yeah.
we'll acquire a bunch of picks on day 3, and we'll draft a whole bunch of players, and somebody's gonna pop because law averages. They have to. And if it doesn't work out next year, we'll draft a bunch more guys. And if it doesn't work out next year, we'll draft a bunch more until somebody sticks, as opposed to going out there proactively trying to fill that position. Thankfully they finally did that at wide receiver, right?
Yeah.
And I think they only did that because
They were-
Lamar put so much pressure on them, in the negotiations. But you see how easy it was to go from arguably the worst wide receiver room in the league to one of the better ones. I mean, they're not at the top, but you got Zay, you got Odell, you got Bateman. Aguilar's a nice addition. You got Devin Duvernay in there still. So, they went from what was a glaring weakness to now arguably a strength of the team in one offseason by just making a couple moves that they had just refused to make for years.
Yeah.
And it could be the same way along the O-line, right? I mean, we saw the Chiefs, they remade their entire O-line in an offseason. Baltimore is just not nearly aggressive enough in trying to fix the holes on their team.
Yeah. All right, got a couple of donations to read here. Shout out to Hendo, says, while you were zigging, we were zagging. Salute to you. Also, Shug with the donation. Appreciate you, Shug. Says, just remember, EDC drafted Lamar and didn't draft Pickens. Also, that's not true either. EDC didn't draft Lamar. Also, Ferris, always a pleasure seeing that wonderful face on screen. Brodny and Jose, always a pleasure getting to listen to your insight and commentary on all the sports you cover. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
EDC did not draft Lamar. Ozzy drafted Lamar. All your favorite players right now were drafted by Ozzy. Lamar, Mark Andrews, Marlowe. Who else? I think that's about it. That's left. All right. Now maybe Zay Flowers might be that guy. He seems to be. He looks like it. So I mean, this could be.
Do people still like Ronnie Stanley?
Yeah,
some people.
Ronnie Stanley. You can add him to the list.
Listen. Yeah, Ronnie Stanley. The thing about the people that are talking about get rid of Ronnie Stanley. Look, man. I know you don't like players getting hurt. It's us they get hurt. Ronnie Stanley is one of the best tackles in the league.
Yeah.
When he's fully healthy, it's not even a competition. Like he's top 5.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So, I don't care how long it takes for him to get right. I mean, just getting rid of him does what? This is our whole argument the other day. Excuse me, with Ben Cleveland. Excuse me, with Ben Cleveland.
Voice changed. Damn.
Huh?
Your voice changed.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Ben Cleveland. Oh my God.
You're saying get rid of him, right? But if he's the best option there, will we? What's the answer? Right? We can't just say get rid of people that you don't like and you don't have other options, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't solve the problem.
To be fair to EDC, I don't think he has a problem identifying talent at wide receiver the way Ozzy did. Right? Ozzy was he just couldn't draft wide receiver.
Yeah, Ozzy was terrible at it.
EDC's problem is a lack of quantity because he's drafted good receivers. Right, Marquise Brown is a good receiver, but they shipped him off for nothing. Rashad Bateman, I think, is a talented receiver. He hasn't put it all together yet for a full season, but I think he's a very talented guy. And Zay Flowers looks like he could be the real deal as well. But it's in Baltimore. It's always just been, well, let's give Prochet one more shot. Hey, let's see what Tylan Wallace can do. Hey, let's go and and just scoop up this veteran that somebody else just cut because we're just not going to make the effort to make it one of the strengths of the team. Like I said, until this offseason. And even this offseason, Odell is a question mark, right? Yeah, if he's back to being fully healthy, that's a great signing.
Yeah.
But you could have really mitigated the risk there by also signing DeAndre Hopkins, and you had zero interest in him.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is.
And the thing with also the thing with Ozzy though, like when Anquan Bolden was free, he went after him. When Steve Smith was free, he went after him. Like he would go through like veteran established players.
Yeah, Derek
Mason. Like the thing with, I feel like if Ozzy was still the GM, he would have went after DeAndre Hopkins. He would be like, he could be my next Anquan Bolden type receiver that I, no one wants him. He's on the market. EDC was like, I don't want DeAndre Hopkins, period. Whatever.
Yeah, Ozzy recognizes his weaknesses and and he mitigated it through free agency. Yes, Anquan Bolden, Steve Smith, Derek Mason. Like, yes, he didn't draft particularly good wide receivers, but
did he
draft Torrey Smith?
Torrey Smith.
Oh yeah, he did get
Torrey was a good receiver.
That's
Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Jones.
Yeah, Jacoby Jones. Yeah. So, look, I know people love EDC. They love Lacy and they want to give him all the chances in the world. I like EDC too, but I mean he's not doing well, and I don't make excuses, right? Like, don't make excuses for these people. Like, he's trying. That's not good enough. He needs to be successful. He's had a lot of tries, a lot of chances, a lot of draft picks. Getting the Lamar deal done, that's nothing to pat him on the back over. It should have been done. Okay.
Yeah, and to your point, like, people say that we don't criticize Lamar Jackson, right? That we don't point out when he plays poorly, which we do. But we're just not into criticizing the best thing on the team instead of the worst thing on the team, right? But if what we're going to say is, hey, he's trying to fix that cornerback room, he's trying to fix the O-line, kind of back off, give him some credit, whatever. I mean, Lamar's trying to win playoff games too, right? Why are we saying no excuses for Lamar? He's trying every time he goes out there. So back off, right? I mean, Mark Andrews, he tries to catch those passes in the playoffs. It just doesn't happen for him. The defenders, they try to cover Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And sometimes it just doesn't go their way.
Yeah.
So,
almost in trial only works in horseshoes and darts and spades.
There you go. Words of wisdom from Ferris. Did we cover everything? I think that's it. I mean, the game's supposed to be on Monday against the Commanders. Look, the Commanders, they got some talent over there too. That cornerback was giving them fits. Ford.
Yeah, no, he that dude. Dude. And the only reason he
got burned a couple of times, but yes, he played well. Yeah.
I think it's his weight. Yeah, you can bump and shove him around and like beat him off the press if you
punch him in the face too.
Punch him in the face if you want to. Yeah. I think that's why he wasn't the best corner in the draft, because he was like, they were saying he was 165 pounds. That's what they were saying. But you know how colleges flub certain stuff. I think he was probably 140, 145.
That's not.
No,
that's not even an adult.
I'll give him 150. I'll give him 150.
Now, look, I'll say this. I do like what I'm seeing from Tylan Wallace in this offseason. Very aggressive, right? He played well in the last preseason game. He looked pretty solid from what I saw in their joint practice. And yes, getting into it. Was it Forbes that he hit?
Yeah. Well, Forbes hit him and he responded.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I like that, man. I like that. We'll see if he can build off of that. Yeah,
Tylan Wallace, man, he was pretty good at Oklahoma State. He was their he was their receiver one. He did have a couple of drops. In 4 years, I think he had I don't know the stats. I'm not gonna bring it up to you, but he had a couple of drops in his senior season. But then he tore his didn't he tear his ACL? Or he broke something or something?
I don't think that
did he get injured?
I don't think so. I think
so.
Fine.
Did he get injured?
No, I thought he got injured in the draft. He fell because he was injured.
I don't believe so. I thought
Okay.
that he was fine, and he just
Wasn't
Okay.
expert.
Oh, was it just like?
I wasn't gonna say that, but yeah, no.
Well, no. Well, the only thing the Big 12 knows how to make are receivers.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think,
I
Patrick
thought he
Mahomes would
fell.
disagree with you.
That's also true.
but this is what I want to see. I want to see,
Jason White wouldn't.
but I want to see these other
Johnny
wide
Manziel
receivers
would.
on the. I want to see these other wide receivers on the roster. Play. Step up, right?
Yeah.
Because you have some talent at the top there, and it's a battle for that last spot.
Yeah.
Or even for playing time, because Duvernay, he's battling too. Duvernay understands, hey, if I want to get on the field, I have to show out, and this is what we need, right?
Yeah, Tylen he's battling for that sixth spot, honestly. Between him and Laquan Treadwell and Dante Demas, and well, they already cut Mekhi Polk. So whoever else they have in camp right now. I don't think that you're going to see a whole lot from them this year, just because they did remake the top of that group, and Odell, Bateman, Flowers are locked in as the top three. I think it's a no-brainer for Aguilar to be kind of the next man up, and Devin Duvernay I think is going to get play. He's going to get moved around all over the formation and just kind of be used as a mismatch guy and get to use his speed and strength. So I mean the whoever grabs that last spot, obviously they're going to have to contribute on special teams, but I think they're really going to be, unfortunately, waiting for an injury to get any kind of significant play on offense.
So,
All right.
So Tyler Wallace did tear his ACL, but it was the year prior to him declaring, because he was supposed to declare his junior year, but he tore his ACL. So then he came back for another year, and he didn't fully recover, and his stock fell because of the injury concern. That's what happened.
Thank you, Ferris. Yeah. Appreciate that. All right. I want to shift over to Panthers and Giants. But before we do that, I want to throw a question out there, right? Because seeing the Ravens and the Commanders practice, and this really should be an annual game, not in preseason. It should be an actual game, the Battle of the Beltway. Okay. Mm-hmm. But seeing them practice and they're getting ready to play. We talked about Eric Bieniemy last week and how some of the players think he's a little too intense. Right.
Oh my God. How was he yelled at today?
Do we feel? I'm asking Ravens fans. Do we feel better about getting Todd Monken over Eric Bieniemy? Are you feeling good? Because look, a lot of positive news so far about Todd Monken. Watched the game last week. Obviously, you're not getting the full picture of the offense, but it did look like they actually practiced passing. But that I feel like that was going to happen with any other coordinator we got. That's not named Giro, but I think the players are receptive to it. Would you still rather have Eric Bieniemy, or are you good with the Monken pick?
Go ahead, Andres. What do you think?
I would be happy either way, because I know it was a college system with Todd Monken, but he out here making people named Ladd McConkey 100-yard receivers. You know what I mean? Like, he knows how to put his players in positions of success. Like, he was given gold by Georgia because all the 5-star recruits, just like smattering. Like, you have a backup who's a 5-star recruit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, their 3 tight ends, they're all going to get drafted. And the best tight end is still on the team just because he wasn't, draft eligible because he was like only 20 and he has to be a junior. He was given gold, and he kept the Ferrari moving. He put the certain members in Georgia to be successful. He's like, Ladd McConkey's very fast. I'm gonna get him on screen plays, quick shouts, and just take it all the way because he's gonna use his speed. He mitigated the risk of Stetson Bennett. You know what I mean? Because during the duel with CJ Stroud, I think CJ Stroud played phenomenally. But I think there was moments where Stetson could have, there's little shaky moments, and he's lucky that kicker he missed it, because I think Ohio State wins that game if Marvin Harrison Jr. doesn't get injured. It's to this day I think it's a guarantee. And the Georgia player was like, we need to take this dude out, and they did. And they, but yeah, he's gonna put his players. He's gonna realize which receiver is good at a certain thing. Zay Flowers. People think because he's tiny, he's definitely a slot receiver, but he never played slot at Boston College. He was Boston College's outside wide receiver. So you have Odell and him on the outside, and then if Rashard Bateman's fully healthy, what is he gonna do? That's another outside receiver. You're gonna bump somebody inside somehow. I did see Mark Andrews. Apparently he was pissed at practice. Apparently he took off his helmet and like smashed it. I don't know why. Probably because he's finally realizing that he's not gonna get all the targets. Probably. He's seeing the writing on the wall. But he needs to he needs to realize like Tom Monken's favorite weapon at Georgia was Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers was that guy. So I think Mark Andrews is gonna love the scheme. And I just think, either or. And Eric Bieniemy, man, anybody like him or Tom Monken, y'all would have won either way.
Yeah,
y'all would have won either way.
I think that Monken's fine, but I just don't like the way that they keep talking about Eric Bieniemy, right? Like Todd Monken was in the NFL previously. He was a coordinator with both Cleveland and Tampa Bay. There was some heat on his name, right, in terms of him being a head coach candidate and all this, and it didn't happen for him. It didn't go great when he was an offensive coordinator in the NFL, and he went down to the college ranks and kind of built himself back up, and that's cool. And now he's back in the NFL. Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator for 2 Super Bowl champions, right? And look, even if there is an issue with his attitude, the way he handles players, even if that's true, I'm not trying to excuse that, but the media would cover that up because he's a winner. Because he's a winner if it was another coach, and it feels like because it's Eric Bieniemy, they're just kind of riding that narrative of people don't like him, he's difficult to work with, and blah blah blah, and it's just not going to go away. Whereas with other coaches, I mean, Matt Patricia seemed like the biggest a-hole, right, but he got a lot of cover in the media, despite him also having off the field issues in his past.
Off the field issues. He also had issues with the media. Also and obviously had issues with
his Darius Slay.
Yeah, right.
But he was a winner, right? Yeah. He was a coordinator for Bill Belichick, and he won a lot. So shut up. But Eric Bieniemy doesn't get that same treatment. So to answer, long story short, to answer the question, I would rather the guy who was an offensive coordinator for 2 Super Bowl champions.
Yep, same here. Give me Eric Bieniemy.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Give me Eric Bieniemy. These coaches aren't players' friends. It's the same thing I tell my kids. I'm not your friend, right? I'm your father. I'm your father. I don't care if you like me, right? Like who told you we have to like each other? I'm your father. I'm doing what's best for you, right? Same thing with the coaches. It's great if they get along and there's good chemistry there. Like you want that, but at the end of the day, their job is to produce a good offense, and I think Eric Bieniemy does that. I think he's going to produce a good offense for the Commanders, right? It's intense. He's intense. He's been to 4 Super Bowls, right? 3 Super Bowls. They won 3 Super Bowls and won 2, and won 2 Super Bowls. Yes. So he's been like 4 or 5 AFC championships. So
the first one, was he the coordinator for the first one?
That was
was that Matt Nagy?
Nagy. I think Nagy was the coordinator for the first one. Maybe in the first 2.
Or was he the coordinator for both of them?
He was. I know. If you're talking about the Super Bowl win, that Bieniemy was the coordinator for both of these Super Bowl championships, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. He definitely was.
So he was the coordinator for all 3 then.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure.
But the AFC championship, the AFC title games, he wasn't the coordinator for all of them.
Yeah.
But either way, man, he's done a lot of winning. He's been around and called plays for a lot of winning games. High power offenses. So he knows what it takes, and I don't care if he's intense. I welcome that here. That's what we need. We're so used to not executing out there, right? I want somebody that's going to hold you accountable on every snap. So when they go out there in games, it looks easy. I mean, look at the Chiefs.
Look at the way he treated Adrian Peterson when he was his running back coach. everyone knew that this kid was special.
Yeah.
This kid was otherworldly. Eric Bieniemy was like, you late 5 minutes. You late a minute. I'm on your ass. Why are you late? Oh God, coach, I was getting my gloves. I don't care. Why are you late?
Yeah. Yeah.
Touchline. Go.
Yeah.
And he's just watching Adrian Peterson run because he's like, you were late. You want to be a champion or do you want to be late? What do you want to be? And like these just videos of him just pounding Adrian Peterson. Like, do you want to be great?
I mean, look,
Like,
you don't
what
want
do
to
you
go
wanna be?
overboard, obviously, right?
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But this is an example of what me and Daniel in the chat says. How much of that was Bieniemy and how much was Reed? The league didn't ask that question to Matt Nagy. The league didn't ask that question of Doug Peterson. The league's not really asking that question of Mike Kafka. They just get jobs.
right.
And for Eric Bieniemy, it's like, oh, well, how much did you really do? And oh, maybe Pat doesn't like you so much. And oh, remember that thing that happened, a few decades ago in college? Like,
Right.
He doesn't get the same treatment.
Also, too, if you listen to the broadcasts, like they're slick with it. If you listen to it, where when Eric Bieniemy does, like the Chiefs offense does something great, they say Eric Bieniemy's name now, but they always throw Andy Reid's name into it as well. Like they throw both of them together.
Yeah.
But I remember watching a Cincinnati Bengals game, and Zach Taylor's the head coach, and Joe Mixon goes, or like they go for like a 70-yard touchdown. They don't bring up Zach Taylor at all. They don't talk about Zach Taylor. They say, y'all know who drew up that play? That youngster in that booth right there, that young up-and-coming offensive coordinator. I think it's something Callahan or whatever his name is. I think it's Brian Callahan's son. And they talk about how he drew up that play, how he executed that play. It was his idea. Oh, but if Eric Bieniemy did that 70-yard touchdown drawing play, it was him and Andy. But when the Cincinnati Bengals do it, it's just the offensive coordinator, not Zach Taylor, who was an offensive coordinator in LA, but really, was he the offensive coordinator in LA? Was he though? Because we all know Sean McVay does the play calling. I mean, but Zach Taylor got a job.
And
Zach Taylor didn't call plays.
And it's despite Andy Reid telling you, no, he's calling the plays.
Yeah, Andy Reid is literally telling you, I don't call plays.
It's a tactic because they know the NFL still has a racial problem, a race problem, right? They don't hire nearly enough black coaches, coordinators, front office people. They know that, right? And somebody who's obviously long overdue for a head coaching job still isn't getting the calls. They know that people are going to question it, right? So they try to preempt it by saying, "Oh, well, he wasn't really calling the plays." We all know it's Andy Reid, right?
He's difficult to work with.
Yeah, he's just
not
difficult.
A good interview.
Yeah, it wasn't a good interview.
Despite Jerry Jones coming out and being like, "Well, them interviews don't mean anything."
Right, right. There's a reason why he's still out there.
Is Bill Belichick not difficult to work with? I also hear horror stories working with Bill Belichick. Like, we act like people, working with Bill is like all sunshine and rainbows.
There are plenty of bad coaches out there that get hired and fired, and more bad coaches get hired. Okay, because it's only the black coaches that have to prove their worth. These other coaches get it through nepotism, and nepotism only. Yeah, we got one on our team. Todd Monken. What did Harbaugh say? I didn't watch his tape. Right?
Lying asshole. I heard about him at the dinner table.
Well, shout out to DDS because Zach Taylor, Mike McDaniel, Mike LaFleur, Kevin O'Connell, they were all Sean McVay's offensive coordinators. Everyone in the NFL knows who calls the plays in LA. No one debates it. It's Sean McVay. The offensive coordinator was basically his glorified assistant.
Yeah, and everybody wants the guys who have been around him because they think he's an offensive genius. The same reason that Mike Kafka was getting head coaching interviews because he was around Andy Reid. But, not Eric. We don't want Eric.
We
want the other guys.
The QB coach.
We want the other guys.
Yeah, who has, and also too think that, like, during the QB show, when they were talking about like, oh, why isn't Eric Bieniemy talking to Patrick Mahomes? Why isn't he talking to Patrick Mahomes? And why is Matt Nagy talking to him? I'll tell you why. Matt Nagy, QB coach, his job, QB. Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator, his job, total offense. offensive coordinator.
Why didn't I wish we put the pressure on Giro like this? I wish that the media put the pressure on Giro like this. But didn't we ever see Lamar talk to Giro?
Yeah, like people like, why is the offensive coordinator not talking to Patrick Mahomes? Because he's the offensive coordinator. He has to talk to the linemen, the receivers, then he'll talk to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
You act like the offense was just Patrick Mahomes. And also, too, Eric Bieniemy was probably also talking about the running back because he primarily was a former running back. By the way, great Colorado Buffalo. Point that out. Shout out to you and Derek Hagan. So he's also talking to the running backs. So Matt Nagy's doing his job. QB coach with QBs, offensive coordinator with the total offense on the sidelines. Why is that so hard for people to like? Why is that so hard for people to wrap around the concept? I don't understand.
Because they put out a show that edited and showed Matt Nagy talking to Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, and you know what? And I remember when people were like, "Yo, Matt Nagy's not a good head coach." When he was in Chicago, they're like, "Oh, he's not very good."
Yeah,
right.
So I like watch Matt Nagy get another head coaching job.
He will. Yeah, he will.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man, that took a turn. I didn't think we would spend so much time on that, but that was a good conversation.
But beware of Sam Howell without Marlon Humphrey out there. Y'all gonna get lit up. Moving on.
Moving on. Wait, before we get there, 90 people in here, hit that like button. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. And you guys are coming back. Football's around the corner. Look at that. Look at that. Everybody is coming back. If you went away for a little while and you're coming back, I just want to rub it in your face a little bit that you missed a great time at our roundup meet and greet. Okay, we were there. Ferris was there. All right, Coach Evans was from Sip to Tally Films, Hendo from the Rogue Pod, Chris just joking from Deep Cover Podcast. We're all in attendance.
OTR
a lot of you, OTR Mike, yes.
OTR Brandon.
OTR Brandon, OTR Quan, yes, a lot of people were there. Justin P was there. Just Allo, yes, just Allo.
My guy, just Allo.
Yeah.
My guy.
So a lot of people were there, and we had a lot of fun. There's pictures up there on all over social media. But look, there'll be another one. Okay, there'll be another one. If you're just coming back and you're like, wait, what happened? What went down now? Yes, we had a great turnout for our roundup meet and greet. And it was so good. There's a demand for another one. So I'm not going to say when, but when we announce, just know when we say you want to get your tickets, you want to get your tickets. All right. Okay. Panthers versus Giants. This is why Ferris is here. Giants are your team, Ferris. Okay. You are a Giants fan.
Mm-hmm.
How are you guys looking so far? I didn't look at your first preseason game. How are you looking? How do you feel about the team so far?
Well, it was just a bunch of backups and third stringers and fourth stringers. I really, I was just evaluating depth. Like, how's our depth? And our depth is not very good. Not very good at all. A lot of the receivers played because there's like a million of them. So all of them played. I saw Isaiah Hodgins out there. Jalen Hyatt was out there. Colin Johnson was out there, Jameson, Cole Beasley. The only receiver that Darius Slayton, I think Darius Slayton didn't play, and I think Shep didn't play because he's still rehabbing. They've already cut a receiver already, and they didn't cut him. They kind of released him on medical designation. So Jeff Smith, he gets his money, but they released him due to he got injured, so he's gone. Offensive line is just in shambles. Evan Neal's hurt. Now I heard today he wasn't in the red jersey, so he's coming back slowly, but he was in concussion protocol. So I was looking at the depth pieces, and I swear to God, man, somebody help me. Somebody help me. If one of these players gets injured, Daniel Jones is screwed. And like, I'm sorry, like when Ben Bredeson is the best of the bunch.
EDC picked Ben Bredeson?
No, well, the Giants have Ben Bredeson.
I know, but he was an EDC pick.
I know.
So and I just want to take 1 second here. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Ferris, but Jay, what do you mean on the back burner, man? This is before the first break.
What's on the back burner?
He's talking about, and on the back burner, we have the Panthers and the Giants. We got a guest on to talk about it. It's before the break. This is top stuff here. And then you followed it up by asking a question about the Ravens. Yeah, no, I tend to think that Daniel Jones is kind of screwed regardless of their depth and all that. He's just not a very good player. I think that the Giants have got to figure out, huh?
He's good. He's good.
You can't even say it. You can't even get the words out. They're sticking in your throat.
Good.
But no, they gotta figure out their wide receiver position. But they have a couple of really, really great pieces on offense with Saquon and Darren Waller, who are going to take a lot of the pressure off of Daniel Jones, and they have arguably the best tackles in the league in Thomas and Evan Neal, right? When healthy, obviously.
Yeah, well, Jerry's still out on Evan.
But we kind of all expect him to because Andrew Thomas wasn't great.
No, he wasn't. He had right? But now,
but the level of talent that we know that Evan Neal has, we kind of expect that to be
with Willie Anderson
real
this
strength.
offseason. Willie Anderson.
I mean, Cordero Patterson worked out with Jerry Rice's guy, but that didn't really help him out. But anyway, moving on. I noticed that your defensive coordinator, who you also have on loan from the Baltimore Ravens, Wink Martindale, he said that Micah, is it McFadden?
Micah McFadden.
Yeah, it may be in line to be one of your starting inside linebackers. How do you feel about that?
I liked him in the spots he played in. I think he was better than Jared Davis, and they chose Jared Davis over him. I don't know why, which made no sense to me. And now I don't see what Jared Davis is. He's gone. Now Micah McFadden probably
massive bust.
Yeah, and then Micah McFadden just I think stole his job. Micah McFadden's only competition was Darian Beavers, and Darian Beavers is coming off of an ACL injury, so he kind of had the inside track on the dual job with Bobby Okereke. It was his job. I thought it was his job to lose because his competition was Jared Davis and an ACL, a post ACL Darren Beavers. If Darren Beavers was fully healthy, I think he would have locked up that starting position very smooth because I was a big fan of him when he was at Cincinnati. That Cincinnati defense had 4 NFL players on it. The only one people talk about really is Sauce, but Sauce's cornerback mate Kobe Bryant, as well as their defensive end Myjai Sanders was on that squad. And then in the middle, hankering the defense in the middle was Darren Beavers. And then he had Ivan Pace Jr. as his backup. And so like that was that squad. And I was like, we got Darren. Yeah.
Because so I hear that Ivan Pace is looking very good.
Yeah, he's really. I wanted to draft Ivan Pace, but Minnesota got him. Kind of like put our toe back in that Cincinnati pool. And Luke Fickell linebackers, they're pretty damn good. Luke Fickell linebackers.
Face, how do you feel about Wink? This is you got a year down. This is the second year, right, as your defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
How'd you think that first year went?
Bro, they gave that man garbage, and he made lemonade, bro. He made a big straight up Azeez Ojulari wasn't playing for most of the year. Kayvon missed the first 3 to 4 games. Then he was trying to ramp it up. He had no depth at defensive tackle at all. So he kind of had to get a little, he's a blitz happy guy. So we blitzed a lot to overcome our lack of pass rushing depth.
That's what you think now. I'm glad. Listen,
but I followed him when he was a Raven, but I'm ready. He's blitz happy, and it backfires on him. I remember he blitzed.
Everybody was high on Wink over here as well. I don't think he's a bad coordinator, obviously. What he did with you guys, obviously. You're
you gave him Fabian Monroe. His Fabian Monroe was his cornerback 1 for 8 weeks. And Fabian Monroe looked like, hey, man, you look pretty good. Good for you, man.
I want to see how you feel about it as you start to acquire more talent on the defense. How you feel about the heavy blitzing?
Oh yeah, right. no,
especially with Kayvon Thibodeau there.
No, it backfired. No, see, here's the thing about his heavy blitzing with Kayvon Thibodeau. People look at Kayvon like, oh, look at those stats. It's horrible. It's because he doesn't pass the rusher in a traditional pass rushing lane. He doesn't. Pass rushing a defensive end's pass rushing lane is outside the tackle. That's where you get most of the sacks. But due to the fact that we're blitzing all the goddamn time, you have Kayvon, cutting in, looping around, so he's not gonna get sacks. So the stats with Kayvon mean nothing to me because I'm like, he's definitely not gonna get sacks with the blitzing.
You see that, right? But
no, I see that.
A lot of fan base,
and
even that organization might look at it when it comes time to pay him, like, hey, you don't have the sacks. This is exactly what happened with Judon, right? Oh, Judon never, he doesn't get double-digit sacks, but he's a double-digit sack caliber player. Just in the system, he doesn't get it. And now, last 2 years, he's had 16, 17 sacks. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
So I see it all the time. And then like he blitzed on a play where he was like, you know what, let me go man to man on Justin Jefferson. I'm like, how about you don't do that? And then we lost to Minnesota in the regular season. That game that we lost, like we needed to stop them. It was I think it was 3rd and 12. It was 3rd and 12. And they got 13 yards. And it was a quick screen too. It was a quick screen. So it was a quick screen. He got 13. They kicked the 60-yard field goal and we lose. But then, but everything is, people are like, oh, but we beat them in the playoffs because Adoree Jackson man-to-man him up. Yeah, he did. He did. Justin Jefferson did not have a good game that day. He didn't. But you can't keep blitzing all the time because, no offense to Kevin O'Connell, his magic ran out. But guess what? Whose magic doesn't run out? Actual competent head coaches and offensive coordinators who are like, yeah, keep blitzing me. I know how to beat you. It's pretty easy. If we were blitz, like we're against the Niners week 3. Kyle Shanahan's like, do it, blitz, bro, blitz. We dare you, And if could we beat them? Probably not. It's going to be a short week on a Thursday night in San Francisco. It's not going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. But if we do, cool. But yeah, he over blitzes, bro. He over blitzes, and the defensive coordinator, the defensive ends, their stats suffer because when they blitz, they have a random safety taking up their rush lane. So then Kayvon has to bounce in or loop around. So, and then in that time, you want your defensive ends to just create havoc on the offensive line to collapse it. They kind of just like, you're basically just running into grown men running into each other and just kind of carrying them down and collapsing the line. Then Azeez Ojulari doesn't do that because he is like the traditional defensive end on the team. He doesn't get people rushing on his side, but he was injured most of the year, and we had Jihad Ward, and Jihad Ward is a great,
Another former Raven.
Yeah, another former Ward. He's a great run stopper, and he sets the line. He controls the edge, but he doesn't get you sacks because he knows the scheme where it's like, I'm not supposed to get the sack. The random blitzer that was sent is supposed to get the sack. So I need to just gap control and just do my job. He does it very well.
I love this whole segment you just did, right? Because you got people coming in now listening to you talk and thinking this is 2021, 2020, and this is the Ravens team because you got Wink, you got Jihad Ward, you got all these former Ravens on your squad, right? And a lot of what you're saying is what we were saying at the time, right? So I'm
waiting for it to bite me in the derriere. I'm waiting for it.
Well, listen,
and it bit me a couple times last year. Like it's gonna, But here's the thing too. Like here's the thing, because I think Brian Daboll's like, there's moments where he threw a wrinkle in there. You're like, that's not a Wink Martindale wrinkle. That's a head coach saying, hey, don't blitz type wrinkle. Yeah. Like calm down. Because I think Brian Daboll is, he's like, the thing he's done is his staff is people like, they're not his friends. He has one friend on the staff, and that's Bobby Johnson, which I think backfired on us because not a lot of people are big fans of Bobby Johnson, the offensive line coach. They didn't like him in Buffalo when he was hired. We didn't like him at all. Buffalo's, the offensive line really didn't play well under Bobby Johnson. And I'm trying to keep it clean, man. Keep it clean. So like he has Bobby's his one friend he brought from Buffalo.
Kayla has great timing.
Yeah, no, he stays watching. He just never says anything. But yeah, so Kafka wasn't his friend. Wink Martindale wasn't his friend. Like they weren't friends. I think he's gonna fire our special team coach, but special teams is about the players who are on special teams. And we don't have good depth, and our good depth is playing special teams who aren't very good. So, like we gave up a touchdown, a kickoff return touchdown in the Detroit game, and it's not very
good. Is that my friend Erica watching the stream? What's up, Erica?
Yeah, do Erica.
Thanks for coming through. All right, B.
So yeah, all that said, and thank you very much, Paris. I was very in depth covering the Giants there. Nobody cares about the Giants. This game is all about Bryce Young and the Panthers O-line bouncing back from a horrible day against the Jets. Yeah. I think that Panthers fans are on the brink of panic.
It is
after watching that. But the Jets had they had one playoff game or preseason game under their belt already. And the Panthers are putting a lot of new pieces together. Like I said, they got an entirely new coaching staff. You got a new quarterback. You got basically a new backfield. You got new wide receivers, and a very young O-line, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that really all I want to see out of this game, because I mean obviously the wins and losses don't really matter, but all I want to see is Bryce Young be vertical after he lets go of the ball, right? Because every time he dropped back to pass, he got hit against the Jets, and I hope Wink does come out and just blitz and really test that O-line and see if they've learned anything. They had a O-line only meeting with Campen, who's the O-line coach in Carolina, because he was very unhappy with how that game went. I want to see if they got any of that corrected. They had a lot of trouble picking up twists and stunts and things like that, and they just looked confused. And then also there were times where they just got beat. Now the Jets are a very talented D-line. And the Giants, I think they have a good bit of talent on their D-line as well. So I think it's going to be another good test for them. I fully believe that they will show up better than they did in that Jets game, but we have to see how much better to kind of gauge where this season may be going. Because, we kind of thought that the O-line would be a strength for Carolina, but obviously after that first game, it doesn't look like it as much.
Also, too, the Jets D line, man, they run 9-10 deep.
Yeah,
they run 9-10 deep, and they're basically doing what the Eagles did last year. But I think with the Eagles, like the Jets are, and they have Quinn Williams, Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald, the fourth, the rookie out of Iowa State. I think Nate Shepard, and they're being what was one of the one things that the Niners defenses, they had rotation on the defensive line. They had solid, and guess who their defensive coordinator was? Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh knows how to rotate.
Yeah.
So I think the Carolina O-line was screwed from the get-go. I think you're not going to face defensive lines like that every week in the NFL, Brodny. I think yeah. So that was an anomaly, and it's preseason, so you're probably it's probably more laxed.
I think new coaching staff, new scheme, and yes, your first game was against the Jets with that D line. They're tense, right? And they know they played bad. That's why they had a not players only meeting, an offensive line players only meeting, because they were embarrassed by that. And I agree. I think they're gonna make sure they never play like that again, right? And it's great that it happened in the first game of the preseason and not in the regular season. I think the O-line's gonna be fine overall. And I think they will show out in this game. They're gonna protect a lot better. I think Bryce Young is gonna look good out there. I'm not sure how long he's gonna play, because this is technically the dress rehearsal game, right? Yeah. So you should get a better look at him. He needs the reps. He's a rookie. So we should get a good look at him.
I'm looking at this Jets defensive line, man. Michael Clemens, John Michael Franks, Bryce Huff, Quentin Jefferson, Carl Lawson, Will McDonald, Tanzel Smart, Solomon Thomas, Quinn Williams, Al Woods. Yeah, y'all were
Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Stop looking at the Jets D line, because we got to get this moving. We're
All
already over an hour. So we'll roll right in. We have one submitted question this week, and due in part to the fact that I forgot to put up the post until just a few hours ago.
So, Mr. J, if you want to submit your question late today,
look, no, there ain't no grace for Mr. J. That community post kicking Jay's ass. You put your questions in Discord, Mr. J.
Okay. First of all, I just need to point out, the community post isn't the only place where you can post questions. Okay, these questions
not really on me if you think about it.
Well, listen, we should post it out on Twitter or X or whatever it is.
Sure.
And IG. Doubt. We'll do a better job of letting you guys know
for that. But there were multiple other places that you could have submitted.
But so just so you know, because people are coming back to the show now.
Yeah.
Hey, people in here, hit that like button if you're new, subscribe. But the community posts, Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. You want DM us on TikTok, you can do that. You can send us an email. LBHTShow@gmail.com. Those are all the ways that you can submit a question for the show. If we select your question to read on air, you get points. You only need 1,000 points to enter our drawing. Okay. Speaking of drawing, I have not seen Chocolate Lady Cap in here. If anybody sees Chocolate Lady Cap, she won this month's drawing. Okay. All right. What is the question?
I just want to say, maybe don't get in the habit of sending questions on Twitter, because I don't know if you saw, but they're going to start doing like an ID verification, where you got to send in like actual identification. I'm not going to do that, so we may not be on Twitter very long.
Or Blue Sky, whatever is going to be next. Yeah.
But our question we have from Jeremy: if you had to change one NFL rule, what would it be? I know that you all have just seen this, so I'll give you a moment to think about it, and I'll go ahead and go first.
All right, no.
If I would have to change one rule, and we're just talking about the NFL in general, it's the salary cap, and it's just going away.
I think what's your first? Go ahead.
No, I was saying I just think that it obviously it artificially puts a ceiling on player salaries. And I don't like the fact. God damn it,
what's up, Sterling?
I don't like the fact that it becomes a very convenient and easy excuse for teams not being aggressive in actually trying to win, right. And that fans buy it, right? Fans will do they'll defend the organization on that front, so they don't even have to say it. It's all, well, we can't afford so-and-so. We can't afford this player. We can't afford it. You can, but it's just about how badly your organization actually wants to go after that trophy. And most teams, they're not all in for winning every year. So if I had to pick one thing, it would be getting rid of the salary cap and tossing that excuse out altogether.
All right, Ferris.
How much time we got, man? Because I got a list, bro.
Listen,
one.
Okay.
One.
Okay, fine. The one that I hate the most is the franchise tag. You are not allowed to do that. I think that's illegal practice. I personally think that's illegal. Like, you gave me this contract. I did the contract. You have no right to like trap me. Like, I did my contract and I want my new contract. I want my new money. Like that. Like, I think that's illegal. That should be illegal.
To be fair, there's I think 5 ways that they can prevent you from hitting the free market after you complete your contract. So
there's the franchise tag. There's a franchise tag, the transition tag, the non-fully guaranteed tag.
Well, I was counting that in with the franchise tag, but you have the unrestricted free agent tag, which I didn't even know about until a couple of years ago.
That's right.
Then you have restricted free agency and exclusive rights free agency.
Yeah. So like that should be like, that's not even like NFL illegal. That should be labor illegal. Like that's in like insanity. Like, you gave me the contract. I did my job. I did the contract. You had an option deal. That's fine, because for first round picks, you get option deals. I did my option year. I did my 5 years. You are not allowed to franchise tag me. You either you give me my money, or I go to the free market and I do, like, all these economists and these business, you talk about free market, but when it's actually free market, they cry, moan, and groan, because you don't know what an actual free market is. A free market means you get no patents, you get no safety guards. If you fail, your business is over. But no, we got to franchise tag people. We got to keep them in constraints. That's bullshit.
All right. I got a couple of donations I need to read here, both from Anonymous. Appreciate it. The first donation says, it's the same double standard the media uses with black players. I can't believe what my eyes are seeing. So to hear, so there must be another reason, but let Allen go off, and is it him and then Mahomes? Oh, yeah. Going back to what we're talking about with the Airbnb. Yeah, absolutely. There's a double standard. We all know that, right? The other donation, and I appreciate that, says, do you think reports of QBs throwing a lot of interceptions in training camp practices is a big deal or a stupid non-story? I think it's a non-story. I mean, we ain't gotta say QBs. We're talking about Lamar Jackson, right? If that story doesn't come out, we're not talking about the other quarterbacks throwing interceptions. And they already explained that was a control situation where they're playing. They were running a specific 3rd and long practice, right, where the defense and our defense is very
15,
good,
right?
something like that. Yeah. So I'm assuming that they're trying to throw for the first down on every play, and that limits what you can do. So you're very predictable, and when you're that predictable against a good defense, like Marlon Humphrey said, you're scripted to lose, right? The defense is scripted to win, so it's not a big deal. But any Lamar news is news.
It's really funny because Ravens fans will tell you that there's no big deal. It's a non-story that Lamar threw all those interceptions. And then in the very next breath, will tell you, damn, y'all see Marcus Peters get them interceptions. I can't believe we didn't re-sign him.
Of course.
Yeah,
what's the problem?
Yeah, man. It's big off season.
All right. So in line with what you guys said, okay, no salary cap, no franchise. I'm gonna say no draft.
Man, I think we just fixed the NFL.
Yeah.
So also too, get rid of that new overtime rule. That one's dumb.
Yeah, that's low on the list. But
Yeah.
Get one.
Sorry.
You get one.
Get rid of the draft. You do not need the draft. We are conditioned to think that the draft is needed. It is not needed. All right. Soccer all over the world gets this.
Yeah, man.
Right?
Literally.
Everything that we said is what they don't have in soccer, and it's the world's biggest sport. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and the players make literally billions of dollars, and nobody's folding. Right? That you can pay Neymar was $400 million for 2 years. This is insane.
320.
This is insane.
2 years, 320.
It's 320 plus
$500,000 for social media posts.
Yeah, if he does it.
Plus was 100 something for every win.
No. So with soccer, the soccer value is weird. It's the contract you give the player, but also on top of it is the money you give the team. So the contract is 320, but they gave Paris $100 million for him. So
Gotcha.
so his value's 420, but his contract's 320.
Right.
So it's
With no tax.
With no tax.
And win bonuses.
So
and a house with 25 rooms.
With a staffed mansion.
And
Three-
4 cars.
320 no tax is the equivalent of a $650 million deal in US in the US, because these teams, these players, when you see these contracts, essentially they're getting half of that.
Yeah.
Right.
For 2 years now.
For 2 years. Imagine a player, even a basketball player, getting $600 million contract for 2 years.
So I was watching a YouTube video with Dominic Foxworthy, where he talked about the true value of an athlete.
Yeah.
And they were talking about Steph Curry's value to the NBA and how valuable he is to the Warriors and the NBA and other teams, because if he's worth to the Warriors $600 million, right? So the Warriors get that, but he also is valuable to the league overall. So the overall to the league is another value, but then he's also valuable to other teams, because guess what happens when he comes to town?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How much value does he bring to you? So like, I think like he is worth like $800 million, almost $1 billion. Steph Curry is. So like, now imagine, LeBron's worth $1 billion, so like, and like in these contracts where it's like Steph Curry gets $300 million, it's still a discount. It's still a discount. A big old discount. Because you want to watch the player, man. It's all about the player. But the NFL, they did a great thing early on. They made you not care about the player. They're like, the player doesn't matter. The emblem on his helmet matters.
Right.
And everyone does this. When your favorite player leaves your team, do you leave? No.
Just because you're wearing the helmet, you don't even. Most NFL fans, you don't even know what those guys look like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For years, I didn't know what Justin Tuck's face looked like. Justin Tuck was my favorite Giant, and then he finally took off his helmet once, and I was like, "Who was that?" Oh, my bad.
And just as an aside, and this is more of a personal thing, how poor a job baseball does of marketing their players. I still don't know what Mike Trout looks like. And I have seen multiple posts where they're like, "Hey, here's 4 pictures. One of them is Mike Trout. Can you guess who it is? And I've seen that, 5, 6, 7 times, and I still don't know what he looks like.
This is funny because no, I agree with B. Like they've posted pictures of him and they do those memes like which one's Mike Trout, and I laugh because I'm like, yeah, I know what JJ Watt looks like. Yeah, I know what this player looks like, but then I'm like, but is it Mike Trout? I know,
like one of these guys is him. Right?
Yeah, for 10 years, baseball was telling you Mike Trout's the greatest baseball player of all time, but no one knows how he looks like. You're telling me, you know what I mean?
Let me read this donation from Anonymous. Appreciate you guys with the donation. It says,
yes.
You watch when Lamar goes off, they're gonna give all the credit to Monken for coaching up the player and keeping it simple for him at the line. But if there's some issue with winning, it'll be on the QB for not getting better. This is it's Ann Rob. Thank you, Ann Rob. Appreciate that. Yeah, this is Lamar's such a special case, right? I think definitely he'll get some credit, and yeah, you should get some credit if you do a good job. I don't think it'll be overboard with it. I mean, it could be. I could be wrong, but it was well documented, even through the media, how bad G-Ro was, right? I mean, you had people doing whole segments on how bad and predictable his play calling was. So I think they'll definitely point out how there's a stark difference between him and G-Ro.
To be fair, that happened later, right? When Lamar won MVP, it was, oh man, they built this offense around Lamar.
Yeah.
And what a great job they did tailoring this system to Lamar. And Lamar can't play in other systems. They did what they needed to do to make Lamar successful. And then once everything was falling apart, then you had some of the younger people in the media going after G-Ro and Kurt Warner and Steve Smith and some other analysts. I think that if Lamar has a great season, which I expect that he will, I think Todd Monken is going to get a ton of the credit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Despite the fact that he's already won an MVP award.
All right, let's get moving. Let me read this from Akeem real quick. It says, not sure if this was discussed, but did anybody see Lamar off on the deep ball today in practice with the OBJ? I did not.
Oh yeah, so it was a little short. Odell had to fall to the ground and catch it, but that was like one pass.
Yeah. I saw the clip where he underthrew it a bit.
Yeah, but Odell still caught it because I don't know because he Odell Beckham Jr.
But that's why it was important to get talent around your great quarterback.
Yeah, that was DeMarcus Robinson that hits the ground.
Yeah, and like people, it was a bad throw. It was underthrown. The receiver saves the catch and he catches it. That's fine. I think it's a non-story because Patrick Mahomes I've seen Patrick Mahomes literally throw the ball 10 feet above people's heads and people just like move on.
Yeah, they don't point out bad throws for quarterbacks with great wide receivers. I mean, case in point, I don't really hear people talk about what a bad throw that 4th down throw to Justin Jefferson was. It was in the hands of the defender, and Justin Jefferson grabbed it with one hand and ripped it back to get the first down. And it wasn't, man, that was a terrible throw from Kirk Cousins. It was what a catch by Justin Jefferson.
Kirk Cousins is the luckiest average quarterback in the history of the NFL. He just keeps getting showered with talent and contracts.
Yeah. And fully guaranteed contracts because he played on the franchise tag back-to-back years. He got $60 million.
He makes me sick.
Fully guaranteed.
Let's pick this up because this is I can see this already getting dangerously close to 2 hours.
Yeah, it's already
look,
head to the NBA next.
Okay, we're gonna go to NBA, but first, you see right below Fair's patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right, that's where you can find our overtime show. And what is the topic for tonight's overtime show? The blind side.
Oh shit! It looked like he was blindsided.
Zing! Got him.
It's gonna be the title of the documentary when it comes out.
We all know it. You see Michael Orr, who we all know and love in Baltimore, and the 2 disgusting people standing next to him. Who are his adopted parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna discuss that in the overtime show, and a couple other topics as well. So if you want to be a part of that, Go to patreon.com/LBHT Show. If you have as little as $5, do you have $5 in your pocket? You do? Then you can be a part of the Overtime Show. Go hit that link or type it in and be a part of the conversation. All right.
But
Yes.
speaking of liars, we're going to transition right to another big liar out in Philly by the name of Daryl Morey, who,
According to Harden.
James Harden said is a liar and he'll never be part of an organization with him again, despite this being the second organization that he's at with Daryl Morey. But James Harden wants out of Philly. And they said that Joel Embiid has spent all summer trying to convince him to stay, and Harden wants no part of it. He wants to go and play for the Clippers. Philly engaged the Clippers in trade talks, and the Clippers are like, "Yeah, man, I'll give you my change. You ain't getting no valuable players. You ain't no valuable picks. But if you want somebody who's gonna ride that bench, you can send James over." And Philly was like, "That's not why I called you." So they broke off talks with the Clippers, and now James is saying he still wants to go to LA, but he is open to going to other teams. He's just not playing for Philly.
Ferris, what's your thoughts on this?
James Harden's a loser, bro. He's a loser, bro. I'm sorry. Like, I'm dumb. Like, he's a straight loser, bro.
Hey,
I'm done.
James Harden, in a few seconds online the other day, sold 10,000 bottles of his wine. So James is doing just fine. Right? He's
well, every NBA player has a bottle of wine. They probably all suck, so it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. He's not drinking 10,000 bottles. He sold 10,000 bottles in one order.
As a Brooklyn Nets fan, I'm just sitting here just sipping my water, you know. Mm-hmm.
Nah, bro, and like
another one.
like, and you can't say like James Harden never had like good teams around him at every been in. Like he's like a legitimate like in the context, he is the definite like dude's a loser. Dude's a loser, bro.
Yeah,
but I would say, and I've told Jose this for a long time.
He did.
I think he doesn't care about winning in the NBA.
No, he doesn't.
He wanted to be MVP, and he went out and he got that. You know, he worked hard and he earned that MVP trophy. He doesn't care about winning a championship, and so that's why he gasses out in the playoffs because he's not really in shape.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he kind of chokes. He shrinks from the moment. I don't think he wants that pressure.
And the way he played basketball wasn't very. He foul chased. He wanted to go to the line and shoot 25 free throws a game. That's what he wanted. And
to be fair, they all want to get to the line every time they go into the lane.
And the refs gave him it.
Yeah, he was better at getting there. But that you can't put that on James. He worked the system to his advantage. Okay, but it's not like he doesn't have the talent. We know he has the talent to put up those numbers without getting to the free throw line if he wanted to.
It's 15-10 one time he did.
It's just
and like bro, like he's Ben Simmons to me, where they love what basketball gives them. They love it, but they don't love basketball. It's funny. It's a job to him. He thinks it's a job. It's whatever, a job to, like sports is a little weird because, everyone's doing their job, right? But at the end of your job season, there's something that everyone wants. And if you don't get it, some people think you're a failure, but you're just I'm just doing my job. James Harden's like, oh, I'm just doing my job.
I'll tell you what, and this is myself included, the people who bag on professional athletes for not winning championships at the end of the year, we ain't getting no awards at work either. All right, because we go to work for the paycheck, and the benefits.
Wait, hold on.
And you fight for that, end of the year bonus, and sometimes you don't get it.
Yeah.
I want to just, and Rob had a question about our Patreon. It says you keep saying it's just $5, but you have to actually pay to give through Patreon. No, you just pay it's $5 a month, right? You have different tiers, 5, 10, 20, even a $60 tier if you're a content creator. But yeah, it's a monthly thing. Yeah, you go through Patreon and you pay it. If
we weren't saying like if you literally have $5 in your pocket, you can join. Like you have to give us the $5.
Right.
So
I mean, Yeah, I mean, you want to meet me somewhere and slide me 5? I mean, we can talk about it. We can arrange something. Listen, you hit the nail on the head with James Harden, both of you. He's a player that doesn't care about winning. As a Brooklyn Nets fan, I don't even feel any way about it because
Damn,
we had no, because look, we had Harden, KD, and Kyrie. We had 3 of the worst, most talented players in the league, right?
Yes.
You have 2 that don't care about winning at all, and you have one in KD who wants to win, but he's not a leader, and
he just wants to hoop.
He just wants to hoop, right? He needs to be on a strong team that's going to tell him, no, this is what it is, right?
KD loves basketball.
Yeah,
that's it. Like he just wants to hoop.
And I think I don't think the Nets are a weak organization. Like when all this is going on, people are laughing at them or whatever. I think the Nets just do things differently, right? They expect you to be an adult, and they got three guys that didn't act like adults, and they said, okay, fine, we're not gonna make a big deal about it. You want to move on, you can move on. And look, man, Philly's window is closed now, right? That's it for Philly.
Yeah, no. And I was saying he tried to get through Patreon, but it wanted to start a subscription. Yes, that's what. If you're not familiar with Patreon, that is a site where you go to essentially, you subscribe,
it's membership,
to support the content creators, YouTubers, podcasters. I mean, anybody can go on and start a Patreon, but it is a subscription service. It's the lowest tier that we have is $5 a month. But if you just want to get into like the Discord, I mean, essentially, I probably shouldn't say this, but essentially, you can sign up for the 1 month and then cancel, and you'll be in the Discord. We don't really kick people out of the Discord, but yes, Patreon is a subscription model, so that we're not kind of beholden to YouTube and or the whims of YouTube, I should say.
Right. Correct. And it's well worth $5, so don't even worry about that. Okay. But yes, no. Philly, their window's closed. Kyrie, I'm surprised that they re-signed Kyrie in Dallas. I mean, they went from a 3rd seed to out of the playoffs with him, and Luka did not seem particularly happy that he was there. Right?
I'm not surprised. Like they had no other move.
Yeah,
and you can't just let Kyrie walk and be like, hey, Luka, we didn't pay Jalen Brunson, and now we let his replacement walk, so it's just you again.
You cannot sign him. You can say, I get it. You didn't have a lot of great options, but I did kind of snicker at that one though. I did kind of snicker at that one just because Harden and Kyrie. Well, I mean, they all made a big thing about it leaving Brooklyn. Like Brooklyn was mistreating them or something like that, right?
They weren't. They gave him everything.
And for Harden to leave, and he made some comment too. Once everything happened with Kyrie and KD, and we shipped them out. He made some little comments like, "Oh yeah, it wasn't just me." No, it is you. It is you. And you did the exact same thing that you did in Houston. The same thing you did in Brooklyn, and now you're doing it to Philly, right? Because all it is you had your fun. You're not having fun anymore, and you want to leave ASAP.
Yeah. Okay, and Rob. I'm sorry for not understanding what you're saying, but you can hit us up on Twitter at LBHT Show, or if you want to send us an email, LBHTShow@gmail.com, or Instagram, or even I guess TikTok. I don't know if they have DMs on TikTok, but anywhere it's at LBHT Show, so you can hit us up wherever.
Yeah, man.
And look,
Philly.
It's my friend Antonio. All my friends are coming through the stream tonight. What's up, Antonio? This is my friend, man. We know each other since high school, man. Thanks for coming through. He says, "What up, peeps? I know y'all moved past the Ravens, but I'm excited for this year." Hey, salute to you, man. Salute to you. I'm excited too.
Man. Philly, 0 for 2 for Joel Embiid running mates.
They should have kept.
And guess what? Joel's part of the problem, but they don't really want to admit that.
He is. I
also believe he's lazy. He's out of shape. And
I don't think he's lazy. I guess you could call it lazy. He's not in the best shape.
Yeah,
he's lazy in his off time.
Yeah.
Which sounds crazy to say. Dude, I don't do work when I'm off the clock either.
Do y'all remember that video of him eating the hamburger right before the game on the training
I
table.
mean, dude was hungry. Marshawn would eat Skittles on the sidelines. Leave him alone, man.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Chad Johnson, he's one of the best receivers of his generation.
I don't
He
believe
eating
anything that
McDonald's.
comes out that man's mouth, man.
Eating McDonald's.
All right, let's keep
Man.
it moving. We're at an hour and a half. We got
One more
combat-
thing about this too. He also insulted Daryl Morey in China. Another layer.
That's why the crowd was cheering.
Yeah, another layer.
All right, moving on. We've got the combat corner, and my goodness, listen, I know that we all used to be big fans. I wouldn't even say fans, but we all used to love watching Conor McGregor fight. He was one of the biggest stars in all of combat sports, not just
gold,
in UFC.
man.
Yeah, I mean, he was a mega star. If Conor was doing something, you wanted to watch it. You wanted to be part of it. And then, he had his fight with Floyd. He made more money than he'd ever made in UFC. He sold his whiskey, made a bunch of money off of that. And, he had that horrific injury against Dustin Poirier. And, then he had the scene after the injury where he was laying on the ground, kind of trying to taunt Poirier still. And it was just a bad look all around.
Went after his wife.
Yeah. And now, he hasn't fought in a long time. He's talking about coming back, and he's kind of put it out there that he wants 3 fights to close it out.
Get ready for this, guys.
When you hear this lineup, you're just it's gonna be. He wanted I forget who he's Michael Chandler, which has been the long rumored comeback fight. So okay, yeah, go ahead and beat on the brain dead guy for a while. Then he wants Justin Gaethje, who publicly said, "I'm not fighting a steroid user." And then he said he wants to close it out, if you can believe it. Now, not Charles Oliveira, who's the number 1 ranked fighter in that division, not Makhachev, who is the actual champion in that division, and I think number 2 pound for pound overall in the UFC. He said he wants to close it out with the trilogy fight against the dude who just got beat by Jake Paul in a boxing match, Nate Diaz.
Wow. Are you guys excited about that? Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready to spend your $80 on that?
3 times.
3 times. Listen, if you're sitting there, if you're sitting there right now saying, who are these people? Okay, well.
All right, AJ, good night. Thanks for coming through.
Thanks, AJ. Look, man, nobody cares about those fighters, right? Nobody. I mean, Conor McGregor is still a name, so yes, he'll sell, but I mean, that's just him saying, I'm pretty much done. I'm not really trying to fight, I just want to go out there and fight some guys that are going to fight my style. They're not going to try to take me to the ground and put me to sleep, right? We can keep it standing up, and I've been practicing boxing enough to feel like I can land some good shots, and if not, that's fine. I can go drink my whiskey and it's all good. Don't pay for that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't support this nonsense. UFC, they're down bad right now. Okay, they're running through these fights way too quick. Their legends are leaving or retiring, and they just don't have anything that's really getting the casual fan interested in the sport. And we talk about the casual fan a lot because you hear that term casual fan, hardcore fans, say that as a diss, but casual fans are what make the sport go. Boxing and MMA. Casual fans are what grow the sport. And names like fights like this doesn't get anybody interested.
I could not care any less about any one of those fights. I wouldn't even watch those for free, if I'm being honest.
Maybe the Michael Chandler one.
I would.
I watch Michael Chandler.
I can't. I would find something better to do. I don't like watching Michael Chandler fight. Period. So that's not even a Conor thing necessarily. I don't like Michael Chandler. But why would I want to see you fight Nate Diaz again? Why would I want to see you get knocked out by Justin Gaethje?
Yeah. Killer Cam says, yeah, they're making more money now than ever, so they won't listen. They're making more money off of the ESPN deal. I don't think ESPN is making money off of this deal, right? And they don't have to listen, but I bet you ESPN is looking at the ratings. They're looking at these pay-per-views, and they're saying we're definitely not re-upping. They have another MMA league, PFL, that PFL is investing a lot of money into building that up.
And they have a cool concept of playoffs, and
yes,
you win a certain way, you get points, and
there's still a few
they're
years left
doing
on this UFC deal, but my guess is they won't be on ESPN after that.
And they may be making more money overall, but I know that their biggest fights are well in the past, like their biggest pay-per-views, and then most of them, to be fair, involved Conor, right?
all of them
But
involved.
I mean, yeah, but
except
it's
UFC,
just,
except UFC 100.
it's
Now
just
this is
not
true,
in,
Killer. They are merged with WWE. That's gonna make them some money. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, and Endeavor's winning in the long run.
Yes,
UFC isn't winning. Endeavor's winning because of their diverse portfolio. Because Endeavor also owns WME IMG, the talent agency production company that represents The Rock, Mark Wahlberg, Will Ferrell. Like it's insane.
Killer says that Dana's more invested in Power Slap now than the UFC, which he may actually be, as he's not he wasn't named to the board for after this merger. But Power Slap, they're gonna get somebody killed over there.
Of course he wasn't named to the board, right? Like something like this happens and you have to have a board. Like, of course Dana's not going to be on it. Like, you're the cartoon character. You can be a CEO, whatever name we give you, but no, you can't make any real decisions. Hell no. You're a fanboy.
Yeah.
Right?
They're gonna Steve Jobs him real quick.
Listen, he was never in a Steve Jobs position. He had a title, but he was never he was never a decision maker for UFC, right? The Fertitas own UFC. So
Lorenzo was Steve Jobs.
Yeah. He'll stay in this position as long as he wants to, because that's safe for them. And as long as they see, value in him being that character, that's fine. But no, he'll never be on any decision making board.
And him just blatantly just like disregarding, being oblivious of the Duplessis Israel Adesanya situation, of him saying, I don't give a shit. I don't care if it's racial, whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
let them hate each other racially. I don't care.
Well, really, what he want to say is good.
Yeah, because he knows it's gonna be a lot of money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. You got something else, B?
No, just the trivia question, and
let's hit it.
Let's get out of here before the 2 hours.
And before that, okay, before we get to that, all right. If you like what B's wearing, if you like what I'm wearing, okay, here's where you can get it: LBHTShow.com/shop. That and a lot more merch, and we're going to be updating that pretty soon. Also, if you just go to LBHTShow.com, you can sign up for our newsletter. We haven't put it out yet, but get on the waiting list, and you can get a easy 1,000 points just for signing up for the newsletter. All right. So go over to LBHTShow.com for the newsletter, LBHTShow.com/shop for the merch. All right, go ahead, B.
Yeah, so for the trivia question, as we mentioned, we're doing the loyalty points. We have a trivia question every week. The first three to answer correctly get 1,000, 750, and 500 points, respectively. This one, I think, is a little bit more difficult. Might require just some flat out guesses on your part. But who's given? I can hear you pulling out your keyboard to Google it. Oh my God, man!
I'm gonna type it in the chat.
Be discreet
and don't blurt it out, Ferris. Let them.
Not.
Okay, this is for points. Okay, look, Jay is. If you type this in the chat, if you exclamation points, if you type that in the chat, one of our stream bots will tell you how many points that you currently have. The first three people to get this right,
I'm ready.
The first three people that get this answer right get points. All right.
So what team in the NFL gave up the most passing yards in a single season? What team gave up the most passing yards in a single season in the NFL?
Okay. All right. I have a guess. But start putting your answers in there. This is a guess. I
have two guesses.
Yeah, you had two guesses. You had two Google searches. I'm gonna say the Saints.
Okay. Let's see. We've got Detroit, Saints, Lions, Ravens, Texans, Cardinals, Falcons, Cowboys. You can't answer twice, Ferris. Buccaneers, Green Bay, Cleveland, Tampa, Washington, the Saints, the Cowboys. We do have a correct answer in the chat.
All right.
We don't have 3.
We don't have 3. So keep putting your answers in. Keep putting your answers in there. We'll give you a couple more seconds.
So if the Saints one is not correct, go with the Cowboys one.
Oh, see, Ferris, you're not supposed to help them.
He's talking about himself.
I'm talking about myself. I don't care about them.
Well, no, you got it wrong. Sorry, you're out.
How do you know?
Because first of all, you're participating in the show. You can't get points.
Oh, wait. So when has that been a thing?
Second of all, you answered it wrong.
Right.
Both times?
Yes.
Oh.
Both times. All right. Yeah. So still,
I was wrong either way. Okay.
This won't help you either, Chris. You have to pick one: Ravens or Jets.
We're still at one correct answer, so we'll give that another minute before we reveal the correct answer.
Yes. While they're doing that,
I'll say that I'll give it just a hint.
Okay.
It's not someone you think of as a traditionally bad defense.
Okay. All right. Now, after this trivia time, we're going to wrap up the show and we're going to head over to the overtime show where we'll be discussing Michael Orr and those terrible people standing next to him. Like
Tuies.
Huh?
The Tuies.
The Tuies, yeah. They're awful people. And I never fell for it, by the way, right? When The Blind Side came out, when I first saw the trailer for that, I was like, yeah, no, I'm going to pass on that. All right.
Yeah.
Michael Orr has been very vocal about how much he despises that movie and how it portrayed him, right?
Yeah, that movie was the first movie I ever watched where I heard the phrase "white savior" movie.
Yeah. Well, and don't say too much now. We're going to get into it in the overtime show. You join us for the overtime show?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So yeah, we're going to discuss that.
I'll talk about how Dominic Foxworth has been on the Dan Le Batard show like the entire week, and they talked about that, and he was Michael Orr's teammate in Baltimore.
Yeah, I wonder how ESPN feels about that. Doesn't he still work for ESPN?
Yeah, he does.
And he spent a lot of time with the ops.
Well, it's the preseason.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think he should be. They should sign him when his contract is up. He should be on middle large.
Bo's free.
Yeah, I think he might end up over there too.
Yeah,
Pablo's over there already.
So we're gonna go ahead and cut it off now. I'm gonna reveal the answer to the trivia question of what NFL team gave up the most passing yards in a single season. We did have a couple of correct answers. It was, I don't know why they used this person's picture, but that's just kind of their thing. The Green Bay Packers in 2011 gave up 4,988 yards. Now you can see it at the bottom there, but if you look at the top 5, the Baltimore Ravens
in 2021.
In 2021,
2 yards,
4,986 yards, but also an extra game, Ferris, to be fair.
Oh.
So nobody's actually given up 5,000 yards. I was a little bit surprised by that, but it was, in fact, again, the Green Bay Packers in 2011, the worst pass defense of all time.
Now, how has it? Nobody's getting up 5,000 yards, but we have 5,000 yard passers.
Well, because you're not playing Drew Brees every week. You're not playing so every week. So that defense giving them up. So congratulations to Hendo and Killer Cam, who both got it correct. So you'll have the 1,750 points. You know what? I might even just break up that 500 and give them an extra 250 apiece.
Oh, okay. All right.
I guarantee you they Googled it.
I don't care. You tried to Google it too.
You Googled it and still got it wrong.
But y'all shame. I didn't Google it. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
We saw your screen light up.
Yeah. It's my second.
Screen. Yeah, because I was checking.
Trust me, if I cheated, I'll admit
it. You admit that you cheated?
Yeah, I don't care. If I get caught, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I did it.
All right, we're getting out of here. Ferris, what you got going on, man? Where can people find you?
Guys, Let's Get Ready Network Entertainment Channel. Today we just dropped our Winning Time review. It's season 2. Winning Time, the rise of the dynasty, as well as the highlights channel. Friday, 3:00 Pacific. Me and Caleb do NFC East, Dallas Cowboys, New York Giants, and smattering of Commanders, probably some Eagles stuff, in general NFL news, as well as my new show, The Open Table, every Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific, on the Entertainment Channel, where we invite the guests and the general audience to our weekly dinner party.
All right.
That will be on next week.
Yes,
That's the next week.
Next week, you guys will be on.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. That
No one
came
likes
through.
you, Jeremy.
Don't listen to him, Jeremy. Don't listen to him. Yes, good friends. He says, "Good friends, better rivals" is a good show. To bully Ferris about the Giants. All right, thank you everybody for coming through. Look, football is. I mean, we're here. Okay, we got some preseason games. It's back. And look, we're gonna be doing some post game shows. Well, when the season starts, like we did last year. And we're gonna have some other stuff in store for you. So keep supporting, keep following. And once again, a good way to support us on a consistent basis is patreon.com/LBHT Show. All right. And we've shown you guys every donation that you guys make goes right back into the show, goes into events like the Roundup meet and greet. Great time. We're going to have some more events like that in the future, possibly the near future. Okay. So be on the lookout for that. But all right, B, are you ready?
Ready.
B is ready. Patrons, get ready. The Overtime Show is starting soon. Everybody else, thank you very much. Have a great night, and we will see you next time. Peace.